Today we shall look at a few examples of creating, managing and dropping table spaces. By default, the recommendation is to use Oracle managed files, and you can see that when you have defined db create file list. So db create file list shows you the default location for all new tablespace data files. For example, if I just specify it create tablespace, I don't give a file name, I don't have to give any parameters for the table space. It goes to the location which I have specified with db create file list. So it defaults to 100 megabytes. You can see it's 100 megabytes, and it generates a unique file name which includes the table space name, but after that there is a string which ensures that the file name is always unique. I can also do an alter table space, and I add another data file to it. Again I get a unique file name with a default size. So you can see another file is also being created with the default size here of 100 megabytes. If I want to override any of these parameters, I can still do that. I can say create table space, and I will have a file created in the specified location with the specified size. So this is a mix of OMF files. These are OMF files, and this is a non-OMF file, non-Oracle managed file. Within the same table space also I can have a mix of OMF and non-OMF files. So I have 3 files of this table space, new EBS, the first 2 you can see are OMF files, while the third is a non-OMF file. When I create a table space, by default I may not have any quotas assigned to users, so I can assign a user a quota on that. Okay, then that user can create a table in the table space. Okay, so we have a table created in the target table space by specifying the table space name when we specify the create table command, and it is populated with rows from source table employees. So it creates multiple extents, but since we have assigned a quota of 100 megabytes, all the tables that HR creates in this table space together cannot exceed 100 megabytes until and unless we increase the quota. The table space can be shared by multiple schemas. It is not necessary that only one schema can use a table space. I can have many schemas sharing a table space. I can have one schema spanning many table spaces. So it's a many to many relationship between schemas and table spaces. Now if I want to drop the table space, let me connect as the DB account. It says it is not empty. If I were to drop the other table space, I can. When it is empty, I can drop a table space. But if it's a table space is not empty, I have to specify additional parameters. When I say specify including contents, Oracle doesn't care what schemas have objects in the table space, whether there are tables, whether there are indexes, whether there are lob segments, whether they are belonging to a DBA schema or an ordinary schema. Including contents just says drop all objects of any and all schemas in the table space. And the AND data files is necessary when you have non-OMF files in the table space. If all the files of the table space are Oracle managed, then Oracle automatically drops those files also. But if you have a table space with non-OMF files, then you should also specify AND data files with the drop table space command. So now the object that was created in this table space also got dropped. So that is how we create table spaces. If it is OMF defined with db create file dest, then you only specify create table space. You don't have to specify anything about the data file. It picks up defaults, a unique file name, and a default size with auto extend on, max size unlimited. I can add a data file without specifying a file name also, and it assigns another unique file here. If I want to specify a non-OMF table space and data file, I can still do that. I can have a mix of OMF and non-OMF within the same database. I can also change the location for OMF files. And then when I create a new table space, it goes into the new location. I had specified the destination is TMP, so it picks up TMP, unique database unique name, DB unique name, the type of file which is a data file. I could also have log files created using the same parameter or using log file create dest. So this specifies it's a data file, and you can see the table space name and a unique file name appended to it. Now what are the parameters for a table space? So you can see the table space uses the default block size of the database, 8 kilobytes. Initial extent automatically is 64K. It starts with 8 blocks of 8 kilobytes each. If a table grows, a table or index segment grows in the table space, it may grow to 1 MB extents, then 8 MB extents, and then 64 MB extents. But initially they start with 64 kilobyte extents. Max extents defaults to unlimited, which is actually 2 billion. The table space is created with the logging attribute, so all inserts, direct path inserts included, are logged into the read log. Extent management is local, So the list of used and free extents are in bitmaps in the tablespace data file headers. They are not in the system tablespace. So the extent management means the list of available and used extents are contained within the tablespace. Segment space management is specified as auto. There is a list of blocks usable for a segment, a table or index segment are contained within that segment's header as a bitmap. So segment space management is about blocks for a table. Extent management is about extents for a table space. Allocation type system means it is auto allocate, and that is why the extents can grow from 64 kilobytes to 1 megabyte, 8 megabytes and 64 megabytes as the table grows. So today we have seen two ways you define table space parameters. One is by using the OMF files by configuring db create file dest, and the other is you allow everything else to default, but you can override this also. Extent management should always be local, but allocation type can be uniform. So you can define, instead of using 64 kilobyte extents, all extents start with 1 MB and remain consistently with 1 MB. Segment space management should always be auto. You should not try to use manual segment space management anymore. You should not try to use dictionary extent management. You should use local. The only thing you can change is whether you want to use allocation type system, auto allocate, or uniform size of whatever size you want to specify. Thank you.